A word of caution before we delve deeper. The following content contains accounts of violence and brutality that may disturb some listeners. In the heart of India, Delhi, a city of vibrant culture and rich history, there lies a darker side. A side that has witnessed horrific instances of brutality that sent waves of shock across the nation. Today, we shed light on these chilling events, unraveling the tales of 10 of the most brutal murders that have occurred in Delhi. These are not just stories of crime, they are a reflection of the grim realities that exist in our society. Each case that we are about to explore is unique, and yet, they all share a common thread, their profound impact, not just on Delhi, but on the entire nation. So prepare yourself, steel your nerves, brace yourselves, for we are about to journey into the dark corners of humanity. Our chilling journey begins in 1995 with the infamous Tandoor Murder Case. An incident so shocking it reverberated through the bustling streets of Delhi and echoed across the nation. The case revolved around the brutal murder of Naina Sani, a prominent political worker, by her husband Sushil Sharma, also a political figure. The night of July 16, 1995, was stained by the horrifying incident, as the tandoor, a traditional clay oven usually associated with the warmth of bread and the sizzle of kebabs, became an instrument of death. Naina Sani's life was tragically snuffed out in a fit of rage and jealousy by her own husband, who then sought to hide his heinous crime by attempting to burn her body in the tandoor of a restaurant he owned. The investigation into Naina Sani's disappearance led to a gruesome discovery that sent shockwaves through the nation. The Delhi police, led by then Joint Commissioner Maxwell Pereira, worked tirelessly to unravel the mystery. The evidence was damning, and Sushil Sharma was arrested, marking the beginning of a lengthy trial. The case reached its conclusion in November of 2003, more than 8 years after the heinous crime, when the court found Sushil Sharma guilty and sentenced him to death. The verdict was later commuted to life imprisonment by the Supreme Court in 2013. The Tandoor Murder Case, as it came to be known, had a profound impact on the psyche of the nation. It highlighted the dark side of jealousy, power, and politics, shaking the faith of the Indian public in their leaders. The brutality of the crime and the audacity of the cover-up attempt sparked widespread fear and outrage. This case planted a seed of fear in the hearts of the Indian populace, a fear that would only grow in the years to come. The Tandoor Murder Case serves as a chilling reminder of the depths to which humanity can sink, propelling us to strive for justice and safety for all. The very next year, the nation was again rattled by the brutal Ramchandra Guha murder case. In 1996, renowned historian and author Ramchandra Guha fell victim to a horrific act of violence that would further unsettle the citizens of India. His life was brutally cut short in his own home, a place where one should feel the safest. The murder was as shocking as it was brutal, adding another layer of fear to a nation already grappling with a series of heinous crimes. The investigation into Guha's murder was grueling and complex. Detectives were faced with a puzzling crime scene and a dearth of leads. The brutality of the crime pointed to a deeply personal motive. Yet Guha was a respected figure with seemingly no enemies. It was a conundrum that kept the entire nation on edge. As the weeks turned into months, the case began to grow cold. The lack of progress was a bitter pill for a nation that was anxiously awaiting justice. The murder of someone as esteemed as Guha had a profound impact, not just in Delhi, but across the country. People from all walks of life felt the tremors of this crime, a reminder of the fragility of safety, even in our own homes. Eventually, after an exhaustive investigation, the case was finally cracked. The culprits were apprehended, and a semblance of justice was served. However, the conclusion of the case did little to quell the fear that had gripped the nation. The brutality of Guha's murder had already left a deep scar on the collective psyche of the country. With each passing year, the brutality seemed to escalate, leaving the nation in a state of shock and fear. The Ramchandra Guha murder case served as a stark reminder of the escalating violence, posing an urgent question. How could we ensure safety in a world where even our homes were no longer sanctuaries? This question would echo in the minds of millions as the nation continued to wrestle with the grim reality of its escalating crime rate. Still reeling from the shock of the previous cases, the nation was subjected to the horror of the Priyadarshini Matu murder case. In the heart of the capital in 1996, a young law student named Priyadarshini Matu was found murdered in her home. The prime suspect was a fellow law student, Santosh Kumar Singh, who had been stalking her for years. Despite Priyadarshini's repeated complaints to the police, no effective action was taken to ensure her protection. The investigation of the case was marked by allegations of police misconduct and a lack of diligence. The initial conviction of Singh was overturned due to a lack of concrete evidence. However, the relentless pursuit of justice by Priyadarshini's family and the public outcry against the verdict led to a re-examination of the case by the Central Bureau of Investigation. In 2006, a decade after the brutal murder, the Delhi High Court found Singh guilty of rape and murder, sentencing him to death. This sentence was later commuted to life imprisonment. The case highlighted the pressing issue of women's safety and the often overlooked problem of stalking in India. The Priyadarshini Matu case shook the nation, not just for the brutality of the crime but for the systemic failures it exposed at multiple levels. It brought to light the urgent need for police reform, better protection for women, and a more effective justice system. Yet despite the shock and outrage, the case also saw an unprecedented public response. People from all walks of life rallied for justice for Priyadarshini, leading to significant changes in the Indian legal system. The case prompted amendments to the Indian Penal Code, making stalking a punishable offense. The horrors of the past seemed to repeat themselves, leaving a deep scar on the national psyche. Yet the Priyadarshini Matu case also marked a turning point, a moment when the nation collectively stood up and demanded change, a moment that continues to inspire efforts for a safer India. Fast forward to 2008, a murder case that not only shook the nation but also garnered international attention, the Arushi Talwar murder case. In the early morning hours of May 16th, the city of Noida was rocked by a horrifying crime. 14-year-old Arushi Talwar was found lifeless in her bedroom, a brutal end to a life just beginning to bloom. Arushi's parents, both respected dentists, were home at the time, adding a chilling layer of mystery to the crime. The initial suspect was the Talwar's live-in domestic help, Hemraj, who was missing, but the plot thickened when Hemraj's body was discovered on the terrace of the same flat the very next day. The case quickly turned into a dizzying maze of clues and speculation. The investigation was marked by its share of controversies. The local police faced criticism for their handling of the crime scene and evidence. The case was later transferred to the Central Bureau of Investigation, or CBI, India's premier investigative agency. After an extensive probe, Arushi's parents, Dr. Rajesh and Nupur Talwar, were charged with the double murder. The trial that ensued was nothing short of a media circus. Theories flew thick and fast, from honor killing to a crime of passion. The public was divided, some believing in the parents' innocence, others convinced of their guilt. In November 2013, the Talwars were convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment. However, 4 years later, in 2017, they were acquitted by the High Court due to lack of conclusive evidence. The Arushi Talwar murder case was not just a high-profile crime. It was a stark reminder of the flaws in our justice system and the ease with which media trials can influence public opinion. The case drew the attention of international media, turning the spotlight on India's crime investigation procedures and judicial system. Even today, the case remains a topic of heated debate and discussion worldwide. The mystery and controversy surrounding this case sent ripples of shock across the globe. In the very same year, the Naina murder case further jolted the nation. A saga of love, betrayal, and a horrifying end, the story of Naina is one that continues to haunt the collective memory of India. Naina, a young and ambitious political activist, was murdered in cold blood by her husband, Sushil Sharma, a member of the Youth Congress. The motive? A suspicion of infidelity. The method? Unthinkably brutal. Sharma shot Naina in their shared home, and in a desperate attempt to conceal his crime, he devised a gruesome plan. He transported her lifeless body to a restaurant he owned and attempted to dispose of it in a tandoor, a traditional clay oven. The murder investigation was fraught with challenges as Sharma wielded significant political influence. However, as the shocking details of the crime emerged, the public outcry was deafening. The case quickly gained national attention, and the media dubbed it the Tandoor Murder Case. The pressure on law enforcement was immense, and the case was pursued with relentless vigor. After a long and arduous legal battle, justice was finally served. Despite his political clout, Sharma was convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment. The verdict was hailed as a victory for justice, but the damage had already been done. Naina murder was a stark reminder of the deep-seated issues of patriarchy, power dynamics, and violence against women in Indian society. The Naina case had a profound impact on the nation. It sparked widespread debates around women's safety, the influence of politics on justice, and the need for legal reform. It served as a wake-up call for the nation, prompting calls for stricter laws and better protection for women. Yet, as we delve deeper into the annals of crime in Delhi, it becomes evident that the horrors didn't end with Heinous. As the years rolled by, the brutality seemed unending, leaving the nation in a perpetual state of shock. In 2012, a case that shook the nation to its core, the Nirbhaya gang rape and murder. In the heart of India's capital, Delhi, a heinous crime occurred that would forever change the discourse on women's safety in the country. A young woman, a physiotherapy student, was traveling home on a bus when a group of men committed an act so brutal it sent shockwaves through the nation. The attackers, 6 in total, were all apprehended within days of the crime. Despite the swift capture, the investigation was marred by controversy and criticism, with allegations of police incompetence and corruption. The brutality of the crime led to widespread protests, with citizens demanding justice for the victim, who was posthumously referred to as Nirbhaya, meaning fearless, by the media. The trial was a landmark in India's legal history, with the 4 adult perpetrators receiving the death penalty, a rare occurrence in a country where capital punishment is typically reserved for the most severe crimes. The 5th, a minor at the time of the crime, received the maximum sentence of 3 years in a reform facility, while the 6th, the bus driver, was found dead in his cell before the trial concluded. The Nirbhaya case was a turning point for India, sparking nationwide debates on women's safety, leading to significant changes in the country's rape laws. The case highlighted the urgent need for reform, leading to stricter punishments for sexual assault and the establishment of fast-track courts for rape cases. In the wake of the tragedy, India saw an unprecedented rise in public awareness and activism around women's safety. The case served as a grim reminder of the deep-seated issues of gender-based violence in the country, prompting a collective demand for change. Yet, while the Nirbhaya case led to significant legal and societal changes, the fight for women's safety in India is far from over. The memory of the incident serves as both a painful reminder of the past and a rallying call for the future. This case ignited a nationwide outcry for justice and safety, a cry that still echoes in our ears today. The year 2018 brought another wave of horror with the Sunil and Gita Chopra double murder case. The tranquil facade of the Chopra residence in Delhi was shattered in this year. The elderly couple, Sunil and Gita Chopra, were found brutally murdered in their own home. The crime scene was a chilling tableau of violence that sent shockwaves through the nation. The police launched an immediate investigation. The Chopras were well respected in their community, which made the motive behind their murders even more baffling. The double murder case quickly became a high-profile investigation, with the authorities leaving no stone unturned. As the investigation delved deeper, a chilling narrative began to unfold. The couple's trusted domestic help was found to be the mastermind behind the gruesome act. The motive? A petty dispute over unpaid wages. It was a stark reminder that danger can lurk in the most unexpected places, even within the safe confines of one's own home. The case was swiftly brought to trial. The evidence was overwhelming and the court found the accused guilty. The verdict was a death sentence, a decision that was met with widespread approval. Justice, though delayed, was finally served. The Sunil and Gita Chopra double murder case was a harsh wake-up call for the nation. It highlighted the need for improved safety measures and a more vigilant society. The case sparked a nationwide conversation about domestic help verification and the importance of background checks. It underscored the urgency for stronger laws and their enforcement to ensure the safety of citizens. The impact of this case was far-reaching. It served as a stark reminder of the unpredictable nature of crime and the necessity for constant vigilance. It shook the nation's faith in the safety of their homes and forced them to question the trust they place in those closest to them. The brutality seemed to know no bounds, leaving the nation in a state of constant fear. As recent as 2022, the Shraddha Walkar murder case further fueled the fear that had gripped the nation. Shraddha, a vivacious 25-year-old aspiring model from Delhi, was found lifeless in her apartment under mysterious circumstances. Her demise sent shockwaves through the country, becoming a somber reminder of the safety issues faced by women in India. The investigation into Shraddha's murder was a maze of complexities. Every new lead seemed to open up a Pandora's box of questions. Initially, the local police treated it as a suicide, but the autopsy report revealed foul play. The cause of death was asphyxiation, and there were signs of struggle, painting a chilling picture of Shraddha's final moments. As the case garnered media attention, the pressure to solve it mounted. The net of suspicion cast was wide, from Shraddha's close circle of friends to the murky world of the modeling industry she was a part of. After a thorough investigation, the needle of suspicion pointed towards her then-boyfriend, who was found guilty of her murder. Despite his vehement denials, the evidence was overwhelmingly against him. The Shraddha Walkar murder case was a stark reminder of the grim reality faced by many women in India. It spurred a nationwide discussion on women's safety, personal freedoms, and the need for swift justice. Protests erupted across the country, demanding justice for Shraddha and stricter safety measures for women. The case was a brutal wake-up call, highlighting the urgency for societal change. The verdict of this case was a small step towards justice, but it left a deep impact on the nation. It sparked a dialogue on the importance of respecting women's autonomy and the necessity to create safer spaces for them. The outrage and demands for justice echoed across the country, a testament to the gravity of the situation. With each passing year, the brutality seemed to escalate, leaving the nation in a state of shock and fear. In 2023, the nation was again shaken by the brutal Umesh Pal murder case. This horrific event unfolded in the heart of Delhi, causing a ripple effect of terror and disbelief across the country. Umesh Pal, a renowned local businessman, was found lifeless in his upscale residence. The initial shock of his death was amplified by the horrifying circumstances surrounding it. Pal's body bore signs of a violent struggle, pointing to a chilling conclusion. This was no accidental death, but a calculated act of murder. As the investigation unfolded, the case became a labyrinth of twists and turns. Clues were scarce, and the motive behind the crime was unclear. The authorities were in a race against time, grappling with the pressure of a nation waiting for justice. The breakthrough came when a piece of crucial evidence surfaced. A surveillance video from a nearby premise captured a suspicious figure lurking near Pal's residence around the estimated time of the murder. The suspect was identified as an estranged business associate of Pal, who harbored a deep-seated grudge against him. The trial was an ordeal in itself. The prosecution presented a compelling case, bolstered by the damning video evidence. After a long and arduous process, the court found the suspect guilty, sentencing him to life imprisonment. This verdict, while bringing a measure of closure, left an unsettling feeling. A life was lost, and for what? A petty grudge? The Umesh Pal murder case was a stark reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of ordinary lives. It further shocked the nation, prompting a renewed conversation about personal safety and the vulnerability of citizens in their own homes. Yet, amidst the horror, there was a glimmer of hope. The swift and effective response of the law enforcement agencies displayed the progress made in tackling such heinous crimes. However, these gruesome events continue to haunt the nation, leaving an indelible mark on its psyche. As we journeyed through these horrifying events, one question kept reoccurring: how can we ensure safety? These heinous crimes have left a deep impact on our society, prompting us to reflect on the safety measures we have in place. In response, authorities have ramped up efforts to improve security and prevent such brutal crimes in the future. More stringent laws have been enacted, with stricter punishments for heinous crimes. Surveillance systems have been improved, with more CCTV cameras installed in public places. Police forces have been given additional training to handle such cases more effectively and efficiently. Public awareness programs have also been initiated, teaching people about their rights, the importance of reporting crimes, and the need for community vigilance. More resources are being channeled into victim support services, providing the much-needed help for those affected by such tragedies. While the horrors of the past cannot be undone, we can strive to ensure a safer future for all.